Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Wright, and I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions for the Southwest at Seton Hall University.
And welcome everyone. My name is Jenna McAteer. I'm also an Assistant Director of Admission here at Seton Hall, and additionally a proud alumni of the College of Education and Human Services School Counseling Program.
And today, Jenna and I will be speaking to you about how applying to college is different during the pandemic. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. This year was almost like the perfect storm for students. And while we have yet to fully overcome the current health crisis, many individuals, institutions, and organizations in the world of education have responded with immediate and long-term changes in direction to help give you a sense of comfort during these unprecedented times. While we will briefly cover the impact of COVID-19 on the college search and application process, our greater focus will be a shift in the current, ways that institutions across the country have stepped up during this time, changing policies and priorities, and pivoting to virtual platforms so that you have a fair and equal opportunity to be admitted to the schools on your list for the upcoming application cycle. Our hope is that this information will give you a sense of relief, recognizing that these changes have been made in your favor. Jenna will conclude the presentation by offering a few tips for you in the areas of self-care and mindfulness, which we hope will help you to navigate the college application process ahead. The COVID-19 pandemic has made several waves in the traditional college search and application process. As we all know, summer is a convenient and common time for you to explore college campuses. In an effort to protect prospective students and campus community members, many opportunities for students and families to visit campuses this spring and summer, and even this fall currently, have been suspended. Additionally, as a result of the pandemic, several SAT and ACT administrations this past spring and early summer were canceled, and many students were bumped out of their testing locations. We understand that this could have happened to you and that it is still happening. High school closures limited and eliminated opportunities to meet college admissions representatives in person at visits and fairs. Many community events were also canceled, alongside most regional and national college fairs. We recognize that what becomes most stressful for you in the midst of the college application process in normal circumstances is that the demand is very high, but a student's perceived sense of control is very low. And with a worldwide pandemic and all of the cancellations that came along with it, many students were left feeling as if their sense of control over the process was completely stripped from them. However, as I mentioned earlier, universities across the nation have made rapid changes in policies and procedures to adapt to the current circumstances and to support you who are in the midst of the college search and application process. Our hope is to share with you the opportunities that are available, many of which are new or even more robust as a result of the temporary shift to a virtual world. And we hope that this will bring you a sense of comfort. Virtual college visits have quickly become the trend in the world of admissions. Through several platforms, a student can participate in high quality, sometimes 360-degree tours narrated by students. Some are pre-recorded, and some universities offer live walking tours of their campuses, followed by an information session or a time for question and answer. In addition to the resources available on university websites, students can utilize websites like UVisit or Campus 360 that offer a long list of 360-degree tours at various universities across the country. UVisit even offers a feature where students that want to treat themselves can take a 360-degree tour using a virtual reality headset. And I hear that you can even buy a cardboard headset on Amazon for $8. After completing a virtual tour, we recommend that students email their admissions office and ask to schedule a virtual meeting or an interview with the admissions counselor in their region to demonstrate interest and inquire about upcoming events like information sessions, virtual open houses, or other virtual admissions events. Also note that this fall, many college admissions representatives will continue to visit high schools, mostly in a virtual environment using Zoom or another virtual platform. Check in with your guidance office regarding the availability of those opportunities at your high school. Demonstrated interest is a factor of considerable or moderate importance for admissions according to 40% of colleges and universities that took part in a 2019 NACAC survey. With nearly a 50-50 chance of demonstrated interest impacting a student's admissions decision, it does not hurt for you to spend the extra time engaging with colleges on your list. Colleges track demonstrated interest in a variety of different ways, but it could be as simple as you opening an email that you receive from a university on your list, exploring their website, completing virtual inquiry cards after a virtual meeting or interview, or after a virtual visit at a high school or fair, or staying connected with your admissions representative with questions that come up along the way. Another change that many universities are implementing across the nation is a shift to test optional policies. At this point, more than 1,450 colleges and universities will not be requiring standardized test scores for the fall 2021 admissions cycle. Instead, these schools would take a holistic approach to the application review process, and they will not penalize you for the absence of scores. That should relieve you of the pressure of taking a test that's not even available in your region. We do want to mention that there are some institutions that are still working through the complexities at this point of how making this decision and making this change will impact special program admission, as well as offering merit aid to their students. Public institutions, for example, must work with the government to change their policies, and therefore scores may still be required for scholarship depending on the institution. Always better to be prepared, and we encourage you to ask this question of the colleges on your list so that you can make an informed decision when targeting schools during the upcoming application cycle. And now I will pass things over to Jenna, who will share some insight into what many admissions professionals will be prioritizing in the fall 2021 application cycle.
Thanks so much, Gina. For the next couple of minutes, what we'll do is talk about some of the new and unique priorities that colleges are committing to in their application review process in this year ahead, and also some ways that you can prioritize yourself and self-care. So earlier this summer, 300 plus college admissions professionals from across the country worked together to develop and sign a collective agreement sponsored by the Harvard Graduate School of Education. And within this statement, they outlined several things that they are committing to taking a specific look at within the application process moving forward. So the first of which was service and contributions to family and community throughout the time of this pandemic. So this can be anything from developing a mobile app to make sure that everyone in your community had access to groceries during time in quarantine, or taking care of younger siblings within your home or younger neighbors within your community. We also are committing to taking a closer look at past or future academic work. We recognize that a lot of schools in the transition to virtual learning had potentially adjusted their grading scales, and we do recognize too that during this time it might have been challenging for students to balance their academics alongside all the other pressures and responsibilities associated with the pandemic. So again, we as admissions professionals are going to be looking closer to your first 2 years of school, your senior year ahead, and if there are grades that kind of don't match up during the time of the pandemic, we'll have some insight as to why that might be. On both the Common Application and the Coalition Application, if you haven't had the chance to begin it already, do know that there is a small space for students to discuss their pandemic experience. It is limited to about, I believe, 250 to 350 words on each. But within it, we definitely encourage you to take advantage of telling us about your experience, because this will help lend insight again into any changes in grades that might have occurred, or just a little bit more about you as a person that we might not have gauged from your regular essay to the university, or also your recommendations from your teachers and counselors. And also, colleges, we recommend that what we're requiring of you within the application process can really set the tone for potential demands and pressures and stress. So something that we are advocating for this year is that students really focus in on self-care throughout this process. We certainly recognize that it might be easy to look back on things that might have been changed for you within your search. So maybe you didn't get to visit the college you're applying to, or maybe you weren't able to take a standardized test. So looking to the past, and then also being a little nervous about the future and what admission decision you are going to receive from a school. So we want to promote mindfulness and really grounding yourself in the present moment awareness to ultimately, improve your overall health, especially with everything going on with health concerns in the country. So some tools that you could use to go ahead and prioritize self-care is a mindfulness walk. This is a great opportunity to get out of the house, have a little bit of fresh air, and really shut down from, any distractions like your phone or your laptop, and be able to kind of take in the world with all of your senses on this walk. So, take a listen to the birds that might be chirping along your walk, really feel your feet hitting the ground, and again, ground yourself in that present moment awareness. If you enjoy breathing exercises, a very easy one to remember is square breathing. So through this, you would pick something like 4 seconds where you would breathe in for 4 seconds, you would breathe out for 4 seconds, you would hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you would pause. And you would continue this exercise for as long as it takes to ultimately calm yourself. Another tool that you could use is the 5-4-3-2-1 pause. This is one that I always, promote because it's so easy to remember in a moment where you might feel overwhelmed. So if you, again, are feeling overwhelmed about anything, or especially the college process, stop yourself, ground yourself where you are, and look around the room that you're within, and locate 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can taste, and 1 thing that you can smell. If you do enjoy, adding mobile apps and working with mobile applications, the Headspace app is a really great one to take a look into. They provide free of charge meditation exercises and also several lessons on, mindful walking, mindful exercise, mindful sleep. They also have a very good deal for students for at a very minimal cost. You can obtain an annual membership to Headspace. So if you're looking for some meditation tools, the Headspace app is one to definitely look into. And finally, everyone loves coloring. If you do have some schools that are your dream schools, a simple Google search of, potentially Seton Hall University coloring page, you'll certainly find a couple that each university has, established. So this might be a fun way to, beyond writing your essay for a school or after participating in an interview for a school, go ahead and color and get started on your school spirit at that school. So to wrap up, looking ahead to next steps, again, be mindful. This is something that is so important at this point in time, and also will be very important once you're in colleges and you have a lot on your schedule. Continue to demonstrate interest. As Gina mentioned, that can be as simple as just opening emails that schools send you, or as complex as participating in a virtual interview with an admission counselor or taking a campus tour at a school. If you have been preparing for the SAT or the ACT, we do encourage you to continue to do so if you do have the time in your schedule, because if you are able to take a test, we imagine that on test day, you might find that you might score higher than you might have initially have, just because the demands and the pressure of the score and knowing that schools are test optional is kind of taken away. So if you could take the SAT or ACT, we recommend, going ahead and trying it out. But again, if you do not have access to a test center, or if you don't have the time or energy on your schedule, then that's something to consider as well. As we had mentioned, there's several platforms where you can virtually visit schools. So, Campus 360 is one, UVisit is another that offers hundreds of campus tours. Each school's website might also offer unique opportunities. I know at Seton Hall we offer a virtual tour, but we also have our live tour guides available to speak throughout the presentation and also answer in the moment questions as well. And finally, stay tuned. Stay on top of news from all of the schools to which you're interested. Stay on top of trends in the field, such as test optional and how that might affect merit scholarship or special program admission at schools that you're interested in. And a good way to stay tuned as well is connecting with your guidance office to get a list of what college reps might be visiting your school throughout the fall, because that will be a unique opportunity along with your peers and your guidance counselor to get to know specifically the person who will be reading your application. So if you would like to take a screen grab or a photo of this slide, you can go ahead and access some of the different articles that we reference throughout the presentation. And also here is our contact information too, as well. So we look forward to connecting with you guys along with our Director of Admission to discuss any questions you have about the presentation or potentially just the college application process moving forward.
Thank you, everyone.